Good evening, everyone. How are you all doing? Hope you're enjoying the Connect group tonight. I just want to give us a brief word on suffering, and I want to talk about: is there any value in suffering? Do we have to suffer as Christians? And since we're going through the book of uh, Genesis, I'm going to use Genesis, a figure from Genesis, as a reference towards that. And just start the Bible verse from First Peter chapter 1, verse 7. I'm reading from the Easy English Version. First Peter chapter 1, verse 7, which says, "The purpose of these troubles is to show certainly whether you really believe God. It is very important that you continue to believe Him. People put gold into a fire to make it completely clean. The fire burns everything that is not gold. The fire shows certainly what is gold. But gold only belongs to this world, so it will come to an end. When you believe God, that is worth much more than gold. If you continue to believe God, He'll be very happy because of you. As a result, He will say very good things about you on the day when Jesus Christ comes again. And you will show everyone how great God is. So basically, it's all about testing suffering is to bring out what God has put in us and also to remove what is in us that will not glorify God. So I want to talk about Joseph, and I titled this the Joseph Chronicles. And I want to read Psalms 105, verses 17 to 22, which says, Psalms 105, 17 to 22 in the King James Version, which says, "He sent a man before them, even Joseph, who was sold for a servant, whose feet they hurt with fetters. He was laid in iron until the time that his word came. The word of the Lord tried him. The king sent and loosed him, even the ruler of the people, and let him go free. He made him lord of his house and ruler of all his substance, to bind his princes at his pleasure, and to teach his senators wisdom." So I look at it that, do we have to suffer to go through suffering? Some people say that no pain, no gain. And to answer this, let's look at the life of Joseph from the time he was even before his conception, and try and look at how suffering plays a part in how God molds us. Okay? If you look at Joseph's conception, reading from Genesis chapter 30, verses 1 to 2, 22 to 24, how Rachel, so that she bore Jacob no children, she envied her sister, and she ended up confronting her husband, that "Give me children or I die." And Jacob was really angry with her and had to confront her that, "My God, I should give you children." And later on in chapter 30, God remembered Rachel and opened her womb, and she conceived and bore Jacob, and she gave him conceived and bore Joseph, and said that, "God has taken away my reproach, and the Lord shall add to me another son." So you can see that even before Joseph was born, there was lots of circumstances of strife, barrenness at home, years of waiting, taunting between the two sisters and the other two wives. Because at the end of the day, Jacob has 4 wives. So we should understand that. Then also, Joseph, in his confessions to when he was growing up, we could see in Genesis 37:2, when he went to give a bad report of the children of the other wives to his dad, that what they were doing wrong and all that. He didn't have the wisdom. He has not learned wisdom. And there's some things you say, there's some things you don't say, or how you say it. And also in his convictions, also then you could see in Genesis 37:2, verse 3 to 11, when he had his dreams and was now going about telling his brother his dream and just boasting about it. A lot of ego was in him, I would say, and pride, because he understood the dream. His brothers understood his dream. His father understood the dream. And that's those kind of dreams, you don't say it out. You can see the way that Samuel dealt with that with Eli and with Saul. Some things that God tells you, withhold it. You don't have to say everything. And that, to me, led to that conviction of his way he speaks led to his incarceration or his carceration, because those years were the years that made him. In Genesis 37 and 39, I believe those were his years of refinement. He learned a lot in prison. God took away his pride. Even though he was made in Potiphar's house, was made the head. In what's it called? In the prison, he was made the head, but nothing could take away the pain of being in prison or being suffering. He was in fetters. You can't see, you don't have any freedom. So he learned. God stripped him of himself and made him nothing. And from that point, that he learned to humble himself. He learned the lesson that he had to go through. And you can see in Genesis 41, 39 upwards, his coronation. When he was called out of prison, he was clothed, taken away from prison clothes, was put in place of honor in Egypt. So it's a case of, if we faint not or lose hope, glory still awaits us. But when we are going through the process of refining, we have to walk it. We have to go through it. And you can see, I call it his convocation. When he gave birth to his children, that's when you could see that Joseph has actually gone through the process of suffering. The changes happened, and he's now a different person. Because he called his firstborn Manasseh, for he said, God has made me forget my toil and my father's house. And it's called the second one Ephraim, for God has made me to be fruitful in the land of my affliction. So he knows that the affliction he went through made him who he was. So our passing out make us more Christ-like and closer to God. He said about Jesus that he learned obedience by his sufferings. Everybody has to go through the sufferings to learn. Abraham went through his own years of waiting for a child. Jacob too went through his own. Joseph too went through his own. Moses too went through his own. David too went through his own. Everybody has to go, even to the Paul that was telling God that take this thorn away from my flesh. It was his own suffering. And God told him, Jesus told him, you are going to suffer on my behalf. And he took it gladly because he knows that there is a glory awaiting for him. So God uses trials and sufferings to bring something beautiful out, like diamond. When this diamond is seen in the rough, it's dull, it's not shining. But it now goes through refining, polishing, which is painful, and to bring out the beauty. Gold too is refined, goes through that pain to bring out its beauty. So whatever we are, whatever we are doing, when we are going through situation, ask ourselves, is this of God or is it of the devil? Is God trying to teach me a lesson? Is God trying to remove something from my nature? Because when we ask God, God, make me a better person, a lot of times might involve some suffering, some testing, as I put it. So we should learn to ask questions. Some suffering, walk through it. Don't be in a hurry to say it's of the devil. Take it to God and say, God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to take out of my nature? If someone knows that they lie a lot, God will take them through testing of lying. Just like with God, there's always, for you to go to the next level, there's always a test. So we have to be ready to go through our test, as I would say. And God will help us. So I open the floor to discussion using the lives of Joseph. You guys talk about it and see more insight. And I hope to join you before the day is over. God bless you. Bye.